Hello, we are back with another building from reference images. Today we're going to be working on this medieval house here. It's a fairly interesting one and there's quite a bit going on here that we can sort of learn for other build types. So for one, we've got a really cool little overhang above the stairs, and we've just got a load of like little bits that are sort of jutting out. So like we've got on the back side of the build, we've got like a little bay window area pretty much sticking out, and on the front we've got like another little bay window sticking out. We've got a little furnace out the front as well. To be totally honest, looking at this, it kind of looks like originally it's a blacksmith shop, but for our purposes we're just going to be using it as someone's house. Maybe they do a bit of blacksmithing on the side on their own. It's a pretty cool build, and yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good to work off of. So we are just going to get straight started on this one. Okay, so this one doesn't really have any colour to it, but we can see that a lot of it is sort of made of stone, and then there's some wooden bits that are attached to it. So the block palette that I've come up with for this one is we're going to be again using stone bricks for the corner blocks, just to add like a nice little reinforced looking structure. For the actual stone bit of the house, we're going to be using a mixture of regular stone, cobblestone and andesite, just to get some nice colour variation in. We're also going to be using those blocks for the sort of furnace area, just because that should wind up coming out looking pretty good. For the wooden bits, I've decided today that I want to go for the stripped oak, and we're going to use the dark oak as a sort of this isn't dark oak, sorry, actually this is spruce. Yeah, using spruce logs for the sort of bordering effect, the sort of reinforced bits of wood. We got the spruce trapdoors because they're always handy to have, spruce door because we're going to need a door, spruce stairs just for a little bit of extra detailing, stone stairs for the actual stairway up, and then we've got some dark oak stairs, slabs and trapdoor just for working on the roofing, and we've got an oak fence for all of the thinner bits of wood. So I think with this one I actually want to start by getting the stairs going. So there is a little doorway at the bottom there to lead underground, and I like to give doorways at least a space of 3. So we're going to come immediately using the cornering block. I'm just going to bring it up by 3 straight away, and then we're just going to have the little mixture of these blocks in here, and that should allow us our doorway, and then the stairs are going to start coming down from there. So this section up here is going to be flat, and that should just about fit the bill, but I'm wondering whether actually to do this, just so we got that little stone brick trim going on, because it does look like there is a little bit of an overhang. So yeah, let's do that actually, and then we can get a nice little 2 wide section in here, whereby you're going to stand and the doorway into the house is actually going to be coming around about here. So yeah, there'll be a doorway in just there, which should be perfect. And again, that would mean that from here we're going to be using the cornering stone bricks again. So yeah, let's get the stairs coming down. So we're just going to step these down as they go. Now the stairs in the picture do overhang a little bit, so that's fine. It's going to come all the way down to there, and then we just need to go like so, and we'll get a couple of them in there. I'm not going to play around with the texturing too much because, as I said last time, I could be here forever. Right, so we've got some fencing going on as well, so we are going to just mimic that. I think these actually need to be this block as well, just to sort of cap it off, and naturally for structural integrity that needs to come all the way down. Get this in like so, and then we just bring the fence round. And this goes all the way down to the bottom. Right, so now we need to work out how much this is going to be sticking out by, and I think just one stair should be enough. But let's just make sure we're still on an odd number. So we've got 2, 4, 5. Yeah, we got a space of 5, which is pretty much perfect. So that means that this can come all the way up now to here, and we can start working out the sort of next bits. So again, I like to at least have a 3 high doorway. So that is 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to actually add a 4th in there, just so that when we're on the inside we've got the extra space. And yeah, that should be pretty much perfect. And we might as well just bring this round all the way around just to cap it. And then the next thing we realistically need to do is work out how long this build's going to be. So there's like a little chimney bit that's stuck out a little bit. So let's just use cobblestone here just to sort of mark that out. And we need to have space for it. So maybe we'll go 2. So at the moment we're on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it doesn't really come out too much further than that in the picture. So let's just, using cobblestone, we'll come all the way along. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, keeping us on our odd number. So it's going to be quite a long sort of a house. Yeah, that brings us up to 15 total. And it should give us space for everything else that's in the picture. So let's bring this up. This doesn't come all the way up actually. Not there anyway. So there's like a little wooden bit that's gonna be sticking out by 1. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's, yeah, okay, that's going to give us our spacing. So this then comes all the way up. And in fact, that actually worked out perfectly. So we've got like the area to know that we're going to have our furnace in there, but the furnace isn't in there yet. So let's bring this up to the top height, and then we just need to fill some of the walls in. But before we do that, we'll just get the back end sort of looking almost right, because there's a few things going on this side as well, which actually is nothing too complicated. So we just bring this all the way along here just to cap off the stone bit, and then there's going to be a wooden bit that juts out, and I'm actually going to jut this one out by 2 this time round and drag that all the way round. So we are getting the spacings, and then finally there is, oh, I just realised I've looked at the wrong part of the build there. Yeah, I have. So that's actually not how that bit looks. That's how this bit over here is going to look. So bring this round, and then as I say, we come out by 2. Yeah, we come out by 2, and then all the way along. And this actually needs to drop down by 1. And that is pretty much perfect. So there's going to be some stuff going on here to reinforce that. But this back bit is a little bit more complicated and also a little bit harder to see. So the stone actually comes up some ways, and from the looks of things, this also will come round and out by 1, but it doesn't come along too far, because we've then got like another bit that comes probably from about this height, let's say, and creates like our little bay window area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is perfect, and the stone bricks can come along like that. And okay, right, a little bit weird at the moment. It looks weird at the moment, but we've got like the main sort of structure going on. So I'm just going to get all of the stone filled in for the edges of the house, just so it makes a little bit more sense, and then we can go from there. Okay, there we go. We've got all of the stone in now, so we can see the sort of stone shape of this. It's in a bit of an L. That's a little bit shorter on this side than it is on the other. But I think that should wind up looking perfectly fine. Right, so the next thing that we now need to do is start working all the rest of this out. So this wooden structure that is on this side of the house is pretty much just going to be coming up just the same height. Yeah, so it is, yeah, the exact same height as the rest of it. And I've just realised actually that this should be here, because it basically connects all of the way around. So maybe we do want this to come out one more, just to make it make a bit more sense and keep things a little bit even. So that means this is going to come up. So yeah, there's just going to be like a little too wide bit there, and that should be able to come around. Now this only gives us a too high space, so do we need to bring it up by another one, or no? I don't think we do. Right, so then we bring that all the way along, and then this comes all the way along this way as well, and then up and connects. Perfect. Right, we're then just going to fill all of this in with the stripped oak, just to give it that sort of rustic feel. Now I know all of this is looking pretty flat at the moment, but it should hopefully wind up coming out looking pretty decent, especially once we start getting sort of everything added in. So right, we've got that now. There is this bit that's going to be a little bit complicated, and I actually feel like I need to bring this out by one more, just because in the picture it's sticking out a little bit more from this wall. So we shall do that. We're going to come up by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then yeah, we're just going to fill all of this in. Again, we're going to focus on getting windows done at the not at the end, but in a minute, essentially. Right, okay, yeah, so the reason I've left that is because this actually comes along as well, and then it's just wood underneath there as well. Cool. Right, so we're getting layers and some pretty interesting shapes coming into this now. Delete that block, don't need him. And this one, I think we're just gonna bring that up like so, and then that one comes up like so as well. Right, so yeah, general shape is in. Now we need to get some of the sort of smaller details in as well. So along the edge we've got like this fairly interesting looking support beam thing going on, and what I think, how are we going to manage it on this build? Probably just by going like this, and we're just going to have 2 where they've got 4 for this. We're just going to have 2, and it's going to come across like that, and we'll fill the beam in along there as well, just because it will help sort of make it look even more structurally sound. And I think that about does it. It looks like there's a window down here, so we're just going to punch that out to get the window in, and it looks like there's only 2 windows on this bit, so 1, 2, and then yeah, that should hopefully wind up looking fairly decent. Now this bit over on this side doesn't have any windows at all, so that can just stay as it is. Then we need to bring this up as well. and it's going to become 4 wide, and we'll play around with this a little bit as well just to make it look a bit better. So got the rough shape of this in. I'm going to drag it out by 1 more as well. And I'm just comparing this to the image at the moment, just making sure I'm sort of happy with the way it's looking. I put some stairs on there just to signify it going inwards, and some stairs there and there. And obviously we need to texture all of this up. But this gives us like a little basic shape, and then of course there's going to be like something to block you from putting yourself inside the furnace there. But it's got like, so let's get some dark oak slabs now, because we've got a little bit coming down, and it looks like it comes down from about halfway along that, so should be something along these lines. Just come in all the way down. I've gone too low there, haven't I? Or have I? No, I haven't. I haven't gone low enough here. And this is just going to come out some ways. And create like a bit of a shelter. Probably to about here we'll bring it. And we'll just use our oak fences just to act as the supports. And then just to give it a little bit of an overhang from the fence, I'm just going to get some of these dark oak trapdoors and bring them down like that as well. And yeah, I think that looks perfectly fine. I think it looks the part, right? So next up on this, we need to sort of start thinking about how the roof is going to work, I think. So grab our dark oak, and we'll grab the spruce stairs as well. So I'm going to use dark oak as like a trim block for the roofing. Now the roof has this really interesting little overhang, so we're going to have to come all the way over to in line with these fences, and then come over by 1 again, just so we can get the lip on the roof. And this is going to be a super simple roof, just 1 step up at a time until we meet in the middle, which should be pretty soon. It should be here actually. Yeah, it should be there. So doing the trim of the roof on this side, obviously we're going to ignore this bit because we've got that giant thing sticking out, but what we need to do is make sure we're in line. So we need to bring that out by 1, and then bring it all the way over, and then step it up. And then after this, it's just a case of filling in all of the stairs. And I think I'm going to use spruce just to fill all of this in. So, yeah. I also like to sort of come along and just trim the top off with the sort of border colour. So, I'm going to come all the way along the top with spruce, dark oak slabs. And then we're going to fill the rest in with spruce. So, I'm just going to do that and jump back in. Right, so over here is going to be our first major difference from the original build, because in the picture there's like another little bay window sticking out, and we're just not going to be able to do that. So in this instance, I'm just going to grab the dark oak and fill that in, and then just fill the rest of it in with the stripped oak wood, and that should wind up looking just fine. And yeah, just sort of fills it out. Now we do need to get windows in on this one, so get the oak fences in here, and then we can just use some dark oak trapdoors here just to act as like shutters, and I can break everything bar what I meant to, and then place everything in the wrong place as well. Yeah, it's going well. So I like to try and keep all the windows open in the same direction, and that basically fills out that bit. Again, we had no windows over on this side, so I think to make this a bit more interesting, because it is looking fairly flat at the moment, I'm just going to get some oak trapdoors and run them along here. And yeah, it just creates a bit of a more interesting look to it. So coming round to the stair side now, we do need to bring these fences up in some places just to sort of connect it up. We'll do one there, and I guess we'll do one here. Yeah, so there'll be a 2-block gap in between each. I'm happy with that. All the way up, please. Oh, it's not going to go all of the way up. Okay, should have looked first. So there's actually going to be like a dark oak beam that runs along here, and the fences are only going to come up to that height. And that's just going to come all the way along. Yep, perfecto. Let's just grab the fence again. Okay, starting to look the part. Now on this side there is a window directly in the middle, so we're actually going to put the reinforcing beams in slightly different locations, in there and there. And we just need to grab some more of the stripped oak wood, and that is going to fill this bit out. So it looks like it's just a tiny little square window, so we'll do it like so. And I'm wondering whether we want to do the oak trapdoors here again, just to make it look just that little tiny bit more interesting. And I think we will. We're going to use the fence in place of the window again. Then we need the dark oak trapdoor. I haven't got very good inventory management today, and we're just going to have that opening like so. And I think that looks okay. It looks fairly decent. Quite a bit that we'd need to do after getting this main structure built to make it look a bit better, but there you go. Right, this is going to come up a bit more, so let's start adding a bit of texture variation into it. And eventually we're just going to come up there like that. It's going to come down into one singular point. I should probably leave that as the cobblestone. And we'll swap that over for that. Again, just adding texture variation in, just so it doesn't look quite so dull. Right, yeah, that gives us a nice big chimney. We're not following that exact design. So in the middle of this, we've got a bit that sort of juts out and creates a bit of a bay window here. So how big do we want to go with this one? That's the real question. It is very, very small, so we could just go, so it'd be 3, 2, 4, 6. Right, unfortunately that's on an odd number, so we are going to not do it like that, we're going to do it like that. So there's a 2-block gap, we're just going to bring this up by 1 more, and then we're just going to, again, doing the exact same sort of a roof design as what we've got going on down there, just until we meet in the middle, which is, again, unfortunately on an even number. I'm not the biggest fan of even numbers. And up and up. And then this will just come along until it eventually meets the roof there. And so will that. And then we're just going to fill these bits in with spruce. And then we just need to basically connect it up like so. And we need to connect you up. And I've just realised this side also needs to be dark oak. And we could get it in properly. Right, so, yep, another interesting looking shape that we can add some windows into. And a little bit of stripped oak just running along the top there just to get the colour in. Yeah, and I think that that's starting to look the part. The roof isn't quite as steep as I think it should be, so let's actually get some dark oak blocks and change the shape of this one a little bit. So let's say from here, it's actually going to start stepping up a little bit more so before it reaches the central point. So what I've done is I've just come up 1, 2, 3 stairs and then started raising it up by 1 block and a stair. And yeah, I think that is pretty much the way that this is going to work out now. So round, up, round, done. And then yeah, we just need to reshape the rest of the roof to match what we've got going on here now. So again, we just go up, up, and then drag the slabs all the way along and replace all of this. So that roof's looking a lot better now that we've done that, and it is way more accurate to the original picture. So there's only really a couple more bits that we really need to sort of do for this now. I probably should have done this as well, but yeah, we need to fill all of that up and fill that in nice and simple, and then we just need to come over to this bit here and build a roof for this section. So again, just like we did before, we're just jutting out by 1, and then we're going to step out like this, but here we're going to come up by a whole block before we reach the final point. I think that should wind up looking okay. There's only really one way to find out, so let's just roll with it. And again, we just drop that like that. Yeah, I think that's fine. That looks pretty good actually in the end. So let's bring this around. One, two, three. And not there. And then again, we're just going to fill the rest of it in with spruce. 1, 2, 3. So these builds will need some connecting blocks in there, there, and there like that. And this is actually, that needs to be a block. That comes along and that goes in there. Yeah, and then we just fill all of this in just like we've done previously. So again, round over to this side there, and then it's block, stair, 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 block, block, stair, stair. Flip that one round and drag this down and along. And then we just need to get that little bit of colour in there. We can have a window in here. And let's grab the dark oak trapdoor just to fill that out. So I'd actually say this one was quite a bit simpler to make than the tower we did in the last episode. Obviously there's a lot of stuff you can do to the outside of these builds to make them look a lot more interesting. The final thing that we need to do is just come along and fill all of this in with the stripped oak logs, just to sort of cap the build off. And then there we have it. I think that's actually fairly accurate to the image that we chose. It looks the part. If we really wanted, we could get the little sign that it's got on it, because let's say it does look a bit more like a blacksmith, so yeah, we can just grab that and dump a couple of signs on there. But I think this build will really come into its own once you start adding like some leaves and live around the whole thing. So yeah, let's just make a couple examples of what I mean. So we get some leaves, bushes. Adding a few bushes about your build always helps to sort of break up the flatness of it. So let's take this really flat side over here. We can definitely get some bushes in here, and you can kind of just click these in randomly, or if you wanted to do something a little bit different, you could get some like carts in and trapdoors. So if we go trapdoor, slab, trapdoor, and then coming around this side, we get the sign on there at the bottom. That isn't going to work out, is it? We bring this up by 1. Sign on there. Grab that and then get some fence gates. You have like a little wagon that can be pulled around. So adding little things like that obviously will really improve the overall look of your build. But yeah, this is pretty much going to sum it up for this one. It was quite a bit simpler than the last one, and it's a pretty decent design.